this is going to be my take on what I wish to see from Tekken 8 Season 2. I am an on-off tournament player. I play Fang, Jin, and Brian. So those are the 3 characters I'm going to be going over. So starting with Jin, his other jab, his 2-4, this needs to be launch punishable. -9 is just not enough for what is, in my opinion, one of the best 10-frame punishers in the game. The stance transition on block being -6, that makes sense. I think that we should keep that, maybe make it -7, or if they want to do a trade-off, and so you make this jab punishable to go for, but then, you know, they have the stance transition be -5 on block. I could see that working. I just think that if you're going to go for that raw, for the sake of, oh, I can get damage on the board this way, you need to be risking something, in my opinion. The next change I'm thinking of is while staying 1-3, just the first 2 hits need to have their damage up. Because this is such a good kind of like get off me tool, I want to reset the neutral, I want to do my movement. Make it do a little more damage. Make it not a lot. It already does 15. Make it do 18, maybe 20 damage. But as a trade-off, make that, instead of being -6 on block, I think it is. Yeah, make that -8. Make him properly have to give up his turn and reset to neutral. Or depending on the character, just give his opponent advantage. Instead of just giving him this, what is essentially a low damage free electric option, because you can just right after that go into stance and then Baba Booey. Aside from that, I do like everything that was shown in Tekken Talk. I like this character seeming to go back to being more of a generalist jack of all trades. I want this character to go back to the way that he was in Tekken 7. So as close as we can get to that, I will be happy with. So next, I'm going to talk about Fang. For the first change, I want the blue spark of 4-3. I want this to be not -14. It should definitely be punishable, but I think that making the blue spark specifically be like -10, so make it jab punishable, but having it to where you have a reason to do the blue spark outside of combos makes sense to me, because the normal version is already -14. And then aside from that, his down forward 4-3, that should not be -4. This needs to be at least -7. I think -9 would be more balanced, because you look at like back 4, that's -9, and a lot of his very good pokes tend to be into like -7 to -9 range. I think this should be as well, because this is 36 damage from very, very far away for pretty low risk, all things considered. The second hit can be ducked, but you don't see people doing that often enough that I think that should be seen as, oh, we can do that. There's also a mid follow-up for people that are ducking, so nerfing that just seems like the right thing to do. I also think that his back turn, this is a little bit of an unhealthy mix-up, because your opponent is kind of forced to be standing because of this grab mix-up, and I do like his grabs out of back turn. However, I think that his lows in turn should be pretty weak, because your opponent, like, they need to crouch. They need to try not to get hit by stuff. And like, his back tempo, this mix-up is already fairly strong, and I'm okay with this one being strong, just because he doesn't get the most reward out of it. Or he gets some decent reward, but it's still risky, like even the mid. But for his back turn specifically, on down 1, either make this launch punishable, because I think this is -13 right now. Yeah, make that either launch punishable right at -15, or just remove that completely, because that's already on his back tempo. So just remove that completely, because his mids are strong. His mids are fairly strong, and his lows and his grabs are very good. So force him to go for his really big low, instead of having this like kind of like half committal option. For Brian, I think Brian is in a good spot in the meta. I like the way that he does his poking. I like the way that his down forward 1 is balanced and stuff. But his super overused tools need to get toned down. Quarter back 1 should not be +5. I think this should be plus on block. Don't get me wrong, but +5 is a little bit insane. Make it +1, maybe +2, but +5 is just insane, especially with how good his jab mix-up is. And then after that, tone down Incinerator. If you're gonna go for this move, make this -14 on block. You can't punish that. No character in the game can punish this at -10. Make it -14. Make us have to risk something to go for this move, because the amount of reward you can get off of it if I don't drop combos, it's too good of reward for how safe it is. Another change that I think needs to be made, this one being a buff. Can we buff the tracking a little bit? Just buff the hitbox of 3+4. I think that this move needs to have a use in his keep out game, because most of the time you'll see people use this as a get off me tool occasionally, but most of the time people are just going to be using his orbital as keep out, which as they should. This tool is good and it should be good, but just give this move a little bit more of a use. Buff the tracking on it, but also nerf that damage. This should not be doing 40 damage on a wall. I absolutely agree that this move should be doing crap loads of damage if you can get the hit, but I do think that if you're going to do this move against a wall, it should be good, but a 40 damage mid on this character when he already has some of the best tools in the game, especially some of the best counter hit tools in the game, that's a normal hit 40 damage, which I don't think he should have. The last thing is on Requiem. Why isn't this -10? This is one of the best heat engages in the game. Why isn't that -10? For that much reward, why is this -9? This is one of the fastest tools in the game. It has basically unlimited range. Make this -10. I feel like with the announcement that dropped yesterday morning for the grab changes getting removed, I'm happy about that. I think that Tekken 8 has a lot of potential for the future. I want to see this game succeed. I really do. I love this game. This is the game that has brought me a lot of new friends, and in general, even more fun than Tekken 7, admittedly. I think that the changes that I want to see are good. We'll see what happens in the patch notes tomorrow. None of this is probably gonna be right on what happens. Y'all have a good one. Bye-bye.